Hi everyone, Trina Phoenix here, and this is 5.1, and we were discussing archetypes and what are archetypes, and I've always seen a direct link to the archetypes with the archons. So I think the archons and the archetype personalities probably are interchangeable. So yeah, through these archetypes, we develop our persona or our personalities, and these archetypes affect your persona or your personality due to the influences that they're placing upon you. And I've noticed this huge wave of people now starting to connect and understand astronomy and astrology, and how the map of the stars talks about our cycles and the energies that are influencing us within the wheel as we're going through time. So these archetypes are kind of important to understand, because through an awareness, sorry, I got something in my eye, through the awareness of the personality or the influences that these archetypes can have over us, you can have a more fuller understanding of how to cope with it, because these energies are going to move into the system at a certain time, and they're going to be present, and they're going to have a potential to cause certain effects and certain things to happen in our lives. It's kind of ironic, because right now the conjunctions that we're sitting in are the same type of conjunctions that were present when we had the plague. So it's pretty interesting to look at these correlations and how these archetypes are built in a certain persona, and they serve a certain personality and function within our solar system. And as above, so below. Within the solar system, you, inside of you, have your solar plexus and your solar construct. So the solar plexus has 12 ganglions that come out of it, and each one of those is like a little brain. So this comes out of the solar plexus, in the stomach, in the solar plexus. And I've always seen that these 12 brains are connected to the 12 archons or archetypes above in the stars. Saturn, Venus, Pluto, Mercury, Mars, all of these planetary bodies are basically personalities. They're entities, they're beings. They have a specific frequency, they're attached to a specific mineral, and our bodies have all these same things within them. So as we can understand archetypes, archons, how they can emanate their energies, and it attaches to us through our solar plexus construct and the mental constructs, and we put those together and form visions, images, awareness triggers. These energies, they're performing alchemy within our bodies all the time. So when you get a better understanding of an archon or an archetype and its influence, you can better navigate through these waves of energy that we're going to go into, because you cannot change the planetary system the way it's moving. It's moving in its own divine course. So through that divine ordering of things, when we get an understanding of how this ordering is working, and this is through how we're traveling through the system of our galaxy. So as above, so below. We're a micro expression within the macro. So I love the archetypes and the archons, because everybody's always had such a bad rap on the archons, and it's like I've never seen it that way, because I see the archonic energies are basically the energies of the planetary bodies that we're attached to through our stomachs. So these bodies and these personalities and these attributes, they all have positive or negative attributes to them. So all has good and potential bad within it. You choose which you're going to create, manifest, and express through you as a being, as these planets are doing the same thing. And I think these planets are very similar to us. They know that they are themselves. They have an awareness of self. they understand their primary energetic charge and their function, and that they understand, they have an awareness of their personality. But I also have a very strong suspicion that just like we are under a form of amnesia with not remembering where we come from, I have a feeling that they're dealing with the same thing. So as we awaken, we're helping the archons and the archetypes to awaken as well to what their original divine purpose was, and what their power and their potential, and that they can choose to be free. So I think we're all learning this right now. And so the connection of these archons and these archetypes, they're truly part of you. So don't fear them and do not worship them. Know that they're one with you. It's literally, this is about the time of understanding. It's not about worship anymore. It's not about giving your power away to anything anymore. Now it's about learning how to become responsible within your own power, in your own persona, your own personality, based upon your reality. So we're all going to be existing in our own personas, doing our best to stay on track with our soul's goal and its mission and what it came here to accomplish. So by connecting to all of these beautiful aspects of what we truly are, we have a more fuller expression of our existence as a being existing within a system, within a galaxy, within a cosmos. And I was looking at cosmic, the energies of cosmos the other day, and it was profound, because when I looked at cosmos, I saw cosmic, and through the cosmic, its cause is from I see. So the cause is a direct reflection from what I see. So they were showing me the cosmos is literally a huge I. It's the ability to have the I am awareness of consciousness, the presence of awareness of self. And this I am presence, this awareness of self, and this I, this all-seeing I, it literally, everything is programmed through the vision. It's all coming manifest through vision. So they were showing me how important the vision is, and how important it is what we see. And look what we're being fed right now in this reality. So disconnect as often as you can, and go into self, and start to connect with the planets that are within you. These are our brothers and sisters. These are part of us. We're one with this entire solar system. That's why we have a solar plexus within us. And our mind, that's the gate to God. Because this is a mental construct. It's all mind. All is based on thought. And then through thought, the mother, she creates the images. And those images are always coming out in two. The positive and the negative polarities of the expression of the one image. So within all images, we're going to have, polarity, positive, negative poles bouncing back and forth, doing their dance. And that's life. So understand, cosmic is the cause and effect of what I see. So focus on what you see. Use your imagination. We have to counter what is happening right now in this construct with hope, new vision, new dreams, and the potential of healing. So all these potentials, all these visions of healing and doing positive works on the planet, helping one another, loving one another, embracing this change that we're coming into without fear, and have a knowing that this is expansion and this is a new birth. A new birth. So we are literally birthing a new creation through this point of existence. And I was watching Patrick the other day on his video. He talked to the Milky Way, and the Milky Way is concerned because we're going to be colliding with another galaxy. So the Milky Way galaxy is colliding with a new galaxy. And this is what I was always shown by the Lord. He showed me from the one becomes the two. But then I was also shown two energies, and they collide. And when they start to collide, this mixing and this blending was creating a brand new life, brand new consciousness, brand new personas, personalities, brand new life. So I know sometimes this all looks like really overwhelming and super spooky and scary, but understand you're alive right now in fullness in the higher dimensions. You just don't have awareness of it. So this body that you're inhabiting right now, this beautiful temple that we reside in, we've been gifted by creation. This temple is temporary, but the spirit that's within this temple is eternal. So no, we never die. We just transform into something new. So with that, let's dive into the archons and the archetypes and see what Plato and Jung had to say about them. I like Plato. Jung has some good stuff too, but Jung was kind of cuckoo loco. Plato, I guess, a little bit too. I think all the really, really super, super smart people were deemed as a little bit kind of crazy because they could see things others and they could process information that others couldn't even grasp. So with that, they were always looked at as odd and different and deemed as crackadoodles. So, Plato and Jung on celestial archetypes. Today, most people are familiar with the term archetype, although of pioneering psychologist Carl Jung, founder of Jungian psychology. However, Jung's work springs from an even earlier epistemology. Sorry, that word just stumped me. So, it was taught by the famous Greek philosopher Plato, who placed the existence of archetypes at the center of his worldview nearly 2,500 years ago, where the modern-day civilization primarily looks to the external world for answers. Earlier cultures often probed behind the worlds of form to the spiritual realms they believed create the visible world. They studied the patterns of nature and connected these observations to science, philosophy, and religion to forge a more integrated worldview. Plato came to believe that these overarching patterns stem from the existence of an even larger cosmic being. These beings he called archetypes, forms or ideas, personas, personalities, personifications. Yeah, that's what these are. Meanings, patterns of potentials that live within us all. Plato believed that these forms are actually the eternal expressions of divinity itself. Yes, the mind stuff of God. Thus, they have the power to influence the world around us. The ancients believed that these energies, which they called gods or goddess, are broadcast through the emanations of the planets. This is what I was always shown, that these planets are literally connected to our chakras through the energy centers of the chakras. And it's ironic too, we've always been taught 7 chakras in alignment with the 7 planets, but then you have the moon and the sun in there too, so that's 9. But okay, so the planets, the subtle energies that bathe our planet and other planets as well. The ancients ascribed various qualities to each of these planets, linking them to the gods. Venus, Mars, and Saturn, for example, came to represent the energies of love, beauty, courage, and action, structure, and discipline, respectively. This range of qualities can also be found within each one of us at various times. The Greeks also observed the same great archetypes in their tales of the gods and the goddesses of the ancient legends. These are larger-than-life prototypes that appear in every culture of the world. Some of these gods were helpful to human beings, while others placed great obstacles in our way. The appearance of such a being might signal the onset of a challenge, an awakening of love, or the overwhelming power to transform one's life. Yet, the ancients recognized that the traits of these gods and goddesses, whether based upon extraterrestrial visitors or not, also existed within the human being's divine nature and potentials, which means they can be activated at any time. Modern psychology has assigned them various labels. Various labels. The lover, the warrior, the hermit, the sage, the prostitute, the beggar, the thief, the ministerial, the artist, the visionary, the prophet, the king, the queen, the critic, the perfectionist, the scholar, to name just a few. Plato believed, like Jung, many centuries later, that the direct knowledge of these intelligences is the only knowledge there is, for they are the real spiritual intelligence that lie behind the world of the seen, generating the framework upon which all life is created. This is what I was shown. Through the 12 wheels of the 12 deities of our zodiac wheel, the 12, that's the 12 cranial nerves in your brain. They're connected to the 12 ganglii solar plexus in the stomach. And I also think that they are connected to the heart. And I see the heart as a biomagnetic plasma, crystalline, multi-dimensional, 7-layered crystal. That's what I see the heart as. So, make sure you take your crystal with you when you go. So, okay. Joseph Campbell, the renowned mythologist, tells us the symbols of mythology are not manufactured. They cannot be ordered, invented, or permanently suppressed. They are spontaneous productions of the psyche, yes, and each bears within it, undamaged, the germ, the power of its source. Germ, an interesting word, and it's used a lot when speaking of creation. Germ is also another name for seed, the seed. The universe is held within the mustard seed. So within the germ, within the seed, is everything that's within that construct. It's all held within the seed, or the germ. So much of the knowledge taught within the ancient mystery traditions was transmuted through the use of archetypes in myth, stories, and symbols. The ancient knowledge of the gods was a shorthand way of conveying a host of enduring truths that speak to the deepest levels of our being. Throughout the inhabited world, in all times and under every circumstance, the myths of man have flourished, and yet they have been the living inspiration of whatever else may have appeared out of the activities of the human body and mind. It would not be too much to say that the myth is the secret opening through which the inexhaustible energies of the cosmos pour into human culture manifestation. So this is how we manifest. Understanding this can be quite a stretch for those who were raised in a materialistic society, taught to cling only on to their external realities. In understanding how these forces work, it is helpful to consider the ancient axiom, as above, so below, meaning that the physical energies at play in the world around us are often a reflection of a much larger spiritual reality. While today most of us are very unaware that such realms of invisible supernatural beings even exist, when we begin to work with the divinities, we awaken our ability to interact with these teachers. Macrobius, the famous philosopher from the 5th century CE, writes, "The mysteries are concealed within the myths, so that the few may know the real secret, through interpreting them wisely, while the rest is able to happily venerate the mystery, defended by those allegories against banality." So, Plato maintained that the human being can experience contact with these gods and goddesses directly before we incarnate into this world. This happens between lifetimes in the heavenly worlds. That explains my connection to the Lord. He explains this concept in the Phaedrus, arguing that after death, each soul passes through the higher realms during the stage of metamorphosis. It says metempsychosis. Metempsychosis. The stage we enter between realms. Metempsychosis. I've never heard that word before. It's beautiful. We are meta. Meta being multidimensional, eternal. Meta. So metapsychosis. Psychosis. Metapsychosis. Transformation of mind. Interesting. Back to meta. Back to the eternal. That would be why a lot of people, when they die, they say, "Oh, when you die, you get real smart." This could be explaining why, right there. Metempsychosis. So at this time, the soul has the opportunity to gain an awareness of the divinities, and then through our interactions with these divine beings, we may be inspired to express certain aspects of their essence ourselves. Pythagoras also taught metempsychosis, the belief that when souls pass through the higher heavens, they sometimes interact with these divine presences. Plato also called what we bring back to earth recollection, or anamnesis, which is the recall of visions from a time of the heavenly worlds. Yes, I've had these my whole life. My whole life I've had these visions from the heavenly worlds that predates this life. Some people, he writes, actually remember these higher beings, yes, and thus find themselves dedicated to a life of justice or heroism, art, music, truth, or beauty, the love of children, or the passion of dance. This is precisely because we have been inspired by these divinities before we were born. Yes. 33-degree Mason Manly P. Hall writes, "Whenever, through self-unfoldment, an individual attains to the state of consciousness, symbolized by a certain God, that God is declared to be incarnate in that personality, and to actually walk the earth." This is why so many people walk around saying they're Jesus, because they do connect to the being of the Lord, the Christ. They connect to this being, and they literally think that they are this being, and in essence they are. There's a lot of truth to what they're saying, because they're literally bringing forth the energy, inspiration, information, personality of that being. So this is why you have all these people walking around thinking they're Jesus. There's a little bit of truth to that. So, Pythagoras believed, like the teachers in the mystery schools, that all souls reincarnate in their evolving quest for perfection. Whatever is not learned in one lifetime is repeated in the next until we finally reawaken to the inner light and begin to connect with our true nature. The idea that we are each connected to a larger divinity is a powerful one. My own spirit guides, Regal and Ariel, had long ago told me that we are like wicks in the candle, connected by a greater chain of being from the highest heavens down to earth. Yes, dolls within dolls within dolls. By following the thread upward, we can discover larger pieces of ourselves. I've seen a really, really big me, so go. So whether we think of them as gods or goddesses, teachers, angels, spirit guides, or as a higher aspect of one's own self, these divinities can become powerful spiritual allies to assist us in our mission here upon earth. In his republic, Plato writes, when all souls had chosen their lives according to their lots, they went before Lacheis, the goddess of fate, and she sent each as the guardian of his life and the fulfiller of the choice. The daemon, or the guardian spirit, that he had chosen, and this divinity led the soul first to Klotho. Klotho spins the destiny, the lives, with the red threads of fate. Under her hand, her turning of the spindle, the destiny of the chosen lot is ratified. Then the genius again led the souls of the spinning of the Atropos, a term meaning fixed or determined, to make a web of its destiny irreversible. Then, without a backward look, it passed beneath the throne of necessity. This tells us that before every lifetime, we decide our purpose, and then we come before the goddess of fate to choose our spiritual counsel or guides. Who will best assist you on your mission? This guide then leads us before the divinities, who then help us to map out the details of this lifetime. That's so funny because mine is the Lord. That's who I chose. And that's who I planned my life out with. I literally saw us planning out my life. So, they will help map out the details of that lifetime, including the decision to be born into a rich or a poor family, our sex, our race, our country of our birth, and then the soul contract that we have agreed to take on in any particular incarnation. This also includes the physical, mental, and emotional endowments that we will need to fulfill our purpose once we have grown. So why do we not remember these decisions? The Greek belief is that we pass through Lethe, the river of forgetfulness. On our way to earth, we forget about the agreements that we have made, yet we are still overseen by our spirit guide who nudges, supports, and encourages us from behind the scenes, helping us to align with our higher purpose. And once we do, through the use of our own free will, the divinities are there to help as useful helpers to help us fulfill our contracts. While the topic of the angels or the spirit guides is generally left to the theologists, some psychologists, historians, and mystics like myself would argue that these overlighting divinities exist far beyond the mortal world and are much larger in scope than our minds can conceive. Historian Richard Tarnas writes, Platonic forms possess a quality of being a degree of reality that is superior to that of the concrete world. Platonic archetypes not only form the world, but also stand beyond it. They manifest themselves within time, yet they are timeless. They constitute the veiled essence of things. They are the intelligences behind the mundane, visible world that lies all around us. Okay, Carl Jung comes on the scene. This is where we're going to go next. So I love you guys. I hope you guys like this information. It completely rings as truth to me, and this is what I've been shown, that I am directly connected to these beautiful planets and these bodies, and they're literally within me, and they're my family. And anything I need, I can ask for them to help. In cooperation, not in worship, not in giving my power away, saying, hey, we're on the same team. What can I do to fulfill my purpose? How can I fulfill my goals? And how can I support the whole? Help me to know and to stay on track and to do what it is I came here to do, because I am determined. And with that determination, I think this is why I have been able to remember and connect to these higher realms of existence before I came here. So all of us have done this. Every one of you have gone through this exact journey. We've all done it together as a family. And only certain beings were called into this time right now. So those of you, the ones of us who are here, we were chosen. So I love you. Know that you were chosen. And that makes you determined. Determined at a level of which will never be underestimated again. So I love you guys. Stay strong, stay focused, see the world that we wish to see, because we will manifest it with the help of them. And remember, it's not about worship. It's about integration. So I love you. We'll see you on the next one. Connect with that which is you. It's the greatest part of you. So I love you. See you on the next one. Bye.